I have a theory as to why women with daddy issues always end up with, well, for lack of a better word, assholes. It's actually not my theory. It's called repetition compulsion, and it refers to the fact that we unconsciously want to reenact the trauma that we experienced in early childhood. So a lot of these women with daddy issues who probably had fathers that were absent, emotionally distant, maybe even rude, and possibly even just like demeaning and abusive, end up trying to seek out relationships that can recreate those initial conditions.
Really excellent message for women. You know, listen, ladies, all you have to do is stop chasing assholes.
You know, to be fair, that wouldn't really hurt them.
You know, what you really need to do is process your reaction to your neglectful and abusive father or your absentee father and go on to chase guys who are not assholes.
Judging by your obvious tone of voice, it would appear that you do not agree with this sentiment. I think the only problem that I have with your sarcasm is that I don't see how processing their trauma would hurt them. It seems like that's something they should do independent of whether or not they date assholes. It seems like it can only benefit them to forgive their absentee or abusive father to move forward in life. So, like, what even is this? Like, just independent of trying to date men or find a husband, that would still just help them.
You know, probably somebody like this guy, you know, he did a ton of inner work. He's got the incense burning, you know, probably want to slide in his DMs because he's not an asshole.
What did he do to you to make you come at him like that? First of all, he literally prefaced his own video by saying it's not even his theory. So you're over here shooting the messenger. You're over here like implying like he asked or like he said that he's the one special dude in the first place. Bruh, it's just the messenger. Like, what you coming at him for? Bruh, chill. Over here with this Roy rage. Flip is wrong with you. God damn. Over here being passive aggressive to someone who's just saying a bloody theory. That's it. He's just all he did.
You know what the deal is, though? Is that every guy is an asshole.
You do understand that that would include you, right? Stupid.
Okay, so I'm tired of telling ladies to go do their own inner work for the shit that we did to them.
Nah, you can miss me with all of that. The shit we didn't do anything. My friend, maybe you did. Maybe you did, right? Chad. Maybe you did, Tyler. Maybe you were an asshole to women, and maybe you were flippant and dismissive of their feelings, and maybe you cheated on a bunch of different women, but I didn't do that. I didn't abandon my children. I don't have any children to bloody abandon in the first place. I didn't cheat on my wife. I don't have a wife. I didn't cheat on my girlfriend. Never even considered it. I don't do that stuff. I didn't do that stuff. We didn't do nothing. So you can kindly and politely miss me with this collective hive mind nonsense that we, all of us males, are somehow in this thicket together. We're not. You did that. You were probably a fuckboy. I don't want to hear this bullshit. We're all assholes. That's you. Speak for you. Out of here with that.
That's what's going on here. You know what part I really like? This part right here.
Instead, they get stuck living out an unconscious pattern forever and ever until, well, they wake up to the awareness that they have a wound that needs it.
You heard it loud and clear, ladies. Time to wake up. Time to address that wound. It's your wound.
Who else's wound would it be? Yeah, it would be, yeah, it's hers. Doesn't mean that she shouldn't get help. Doesn't mean you shouldn't have empathy. Doesn't mean you shouldn't have kindness, some consideration. But it is her wound. Yeah.
Put those kids in daycare with the money that you don't have because your husband's spending all his money on alcohol. Or he's just not even around because he's hanging out with the bros doing sports shit and gambling.
So, if I can understand this correctly, you married a man. So when he asked, this is the whole thing. When he asked to marry you and you said yes, right? And then you know, you guys planned out the wedding. and you stood before your friends and your family, and his friends and his family, and before God Himself. When you did all that and you vowed to be with Him, until like you died, you selected that man for a lifetime commitment to be with Him forever. You did that. Okay. So somehow in this whole arc of choosing to be with that man, it didn't occur to you that he was an alcoholic. And somewhere in between you having sex with him enough times to then be with child, it's only after the fact now his awful alcoholic tendencies have been shown. I resent that. I don't believe he randomly became this bloody man. I don't. And if he did randomly become this man, as the woman who did everything that I just described, picked him, married him, gave birth to his children, I would imagine that you, more than anyone else, should have some empathy, some care, some worry, trying to find some understanding as to how in God's great green earth this man you picked became a bloody alcoholic that won't help with his children. Now, of course, this isn't saying that this alcoholic, abusive father doesn't need to do some inner work. However, how you found yourself in a marriage with someone like that eludes me. Might have something to do with all of that undealt trauma you might have had from that abusive father that you may have had. And you repeating the cycle? Or maybe not. Maybe you just like a challenge. I don't know.
Oh, you know what else? Put the dishes down. Because you're still scrubbing the soap scum off that he left because he weaponizes his incompetence because he wants to think that you're a fucking mommy.
Okay, look, listen. I don't know if I've uploaded my video on weaponized incompetence yet. I really don't. So I'm just gonna ignore the weaponized incompetence thing. I'm gonna dismiss it offhand and instead kind of explain my previous clip, just for those who don't get it, like for the girls and for the guys in the audience who don't understand, like, why there's a highlight on women selecting men rather than the awful behaviors of men, right? Okay, so there's two things. One, these are awful behaviors, so it kind of goes without saying. Sure, we can say until we're blue in the face to not be a neglectful father. The only problem is that character trait didn't stop him from becoming a father, right? So if I say, don't be this awful bad guy, and he still reproduces with a woman, what good is my negative criticism to him if the woman rewarded him with with her body? Like if she validated and verified his life choices by allowing him in her body and then reproducing with her and marrying her, what good is it for me to then come and say, hey, no be bad guy? He's the one that's married. He's the one the woman chose to be with. By all matters of evolution and evolutionary psychology, he did everything right. What the flip is anyone outside of that supposed to say? Without kindness, grace, and some virtue and care for the woman that he's with, her body has validated his vice. She's in the house with him. She picked him. She's with him. His character didn't stop her from being with this man. So anything outside of that, I'm going to be honest with you, is a little bit superfluous. So the reason why I have to highlight women selecting men is because as a man, my only perspective is as such the one who must be selected. Meaning that I have to prove myself worthy in one way, shape, or form. Whether it's me proving I'm not like whatever her negative ex was like in her past. Whether it's me proving that I can take care of her or I'm masculine enough. Whether it's me proving that I'm funny enough and I'm entertaining enough. Whether it's me validating her enough. I have to be picked. I have to be selected. women have so many options, at least perceived options, as much as like actually able to invest in them. That goes without saying, but whatever. A lot of women have options, and they feel they have options, and they treat men like they're options. And there have been plenty of times where I literally have been the one path she could take, and the other dude was the path she could take. And there have been times, many times actually, where a woman would take the other path over me. Now, of course, I understand. You're bitter. It's not even about being bitter. It's just the facts of what happened. It doesn't really matter if I'm bitter or not. The reality is, she had the choice and option to date me, who wouldn't cheat on her, and Fuckboy McGee, who constantly cheated on her. Numerous times, women have selected Fuckboy McGee. And he would do what Fuckboy McGee would do. Cheat on her numerous times. At a certain point, I completely understand that these men shouldn't treat women poorly. I say that all the time, actually. I say that most of the time. And I say, out my own mouth, that men should have kindness, virtue, compassion, honor, independent of being in a relationship with a woman. It's just how you should treat everyone. It's how you should even treat yourself as a man. But the problem is, if women reward the vices of these dudes enough to give them children, at what point? At what point? At what point can we say, ladies, if you're the selectors, you gotta choose different. We as men can't constantly say other men are terrible, bad people, and then you still pick those terrible, bad people, and then turn around and tell men to tell other men to stop being bad people, but you picked the bad people in the first place.
Because you're his fucking therapist, but you have a wound that needs addressing. So wake up, ladies. What are you waiting for? Stop chasing assholes.
Pause. Listen, I've noticed this on TikTok as well. Lots of women complaining about being men's therapists. Listen, throughout the whole of me bloody life, I've never had a woman act as my therapist, okay? Maybe a confidant, but I've never had a woman act as my therapist. But listen, almost 85% of my relationships with women have been me helping unpack and deal with her trauma and the issues in her life and trying to help her out. Women have, from their own mouth, have said, I'm like their therapist. They've said, I didn't say it, they have said it to me. In other words, this whole like therapist thing, guess what? That's what you do for people you care about because you want to help them with their problems. Now, you may not be bloody equipped to do so, of which I've learned I am not equipped to do so. I'm humble enough to say that. I fail all the time. But this idea that as a woman, that you're a therapist to the man that you picked is nonsense. You should care about the man you picked. You picked him. It's not an arranged marriage. If this wasn't an arranged marriage, you might have a little bit more merit to complain, but otherwise, what even is this complaint? You gotta be his friggin' therapist. He's your husband. He's your boyfriend. He's your friend. Come on.
Oh, but guess what? Everybody's an asshole. Every single guy on the fucking planet is an asshole.
You know, look, listen, man, I think everyone probably is a little bit of a jerk to some degree, right? I think that's fair. We all fall short of the glory of the Lord. And we all sin, certainly. But I think ultimately, what you really should be focusing on is someone in pursuit of the good, pursuit of character, pursuit of virtue, pursuit of doing what's right, pursuit of trying to be a loving and selfless person. It doesn't mean that they always will be. For example, and yeah, I'll use myself as an example. I don't care about holidays at all. Don't think too hard about them. I don't even think too hard about people's birthdays. I don't even think that hard about my birthday. But I understand that some people, most people, do. Okay? And so there might be the day where I'm with a woman and I just don't give a damn about any holiday that she does. Okay? And it might disappoint her. And I understand that. And it's something I'd have to work on with her. I get it, right? I can be a jerk. It doesn't mean anything to me. That being said, me being a jerk here doesn't mean overwhelmingly I have no care, no compassion, no desire to help her in every other factor of her life, or that there's no other virtue or value to me as a person apart from just this element of validating her on her special day, XYZ day, whatever it is, Christmas, her birthday, and Labor Day, I don't bloody know. The point is this. You can say everyone's an asshole, but it doesn't mean everyone's vile. Everyone can be a bit of a jerk. Some people can be selfish. Long and short of it is, you shouldn't pick the spark over kindness and consideration. You shouldn't pick someone that is not boring because you're afraid of being bored. You shouldn't be chasing validation over someone that actually loves and cares about you. That's the long and short of it. If you are more concerned with validation, more concerned with the spark, more concerned with some dude being attractive, that's your problem. And if you're more concerned or not addressing or dealing with problems that may be putting you in a deadlock of trauma where you repeat the same bad situations that happened with your father, your ex, or whoever, then that's your problem.
Because we all have daddy issues and mommy issues, not to the same way that it's used in the fucking colloquial usage of the term.
This stupid pandering that really doesn't help anyone. And I mean, it really doesn't help women. Like, it really doesn't. Like, just telling them what they want to hear. Listen, dude, right? Listen, okay? You're not going to listen because you're a dickhead. But here's the problem, okay, with this pandering. Notice how the dude that you're responding to just offered a theory that would encapsulate those women that have trauma. There's already a qualifier. It's not all women. But in your stupid response, and it's stupid, you say all men are assholes. There is no respite for young ladies now, is there? There's not one dude in the whole of this giant blue trap bubble we find ourselves in there, is it, huh? Which would include you too, dumbass. All men are assholes. There's no escape. There's no respite for young ladies to find a man that has some degree of compassion, some degree of care, some degree of love. They all are just terrible.
But men are fucking women over, and women, yet again, have to take the entire brunt of it.
No. You are fucking women over. You are literally the textbook definition of a Chad. Right? That's you. You're the fuckboy McGee. That's you. I know it's you. Let's not even pretend. Let's not even kid ourselves here, okay? Where's your family? Where's your wife? Where are they at, though? Where are they? I'm a little bit curious as to why you over here, obviously on fucking steroids, it's probably the roid race that's making you act like this in the first place. So, look, listen, okay? Like, I could be a real jerk. But look, listen. You're not helping anyone by pandering and doing this. By just giving and telling them what they want to hear. It doesn't help them. It doesn't help them grow. It doesn't help them become a better person. You know what my dad used to say? You don't test steel by looking at it. You test steel by beating on it. You need to see that it's rigid, that it's strong, that it can withstand the trauma, the stress that it's going to be engaging in, my friend. In other words, you don't just wrap people in cotton and just tell them all the nice things they want to hear that they have no problems. You have to challenge them sometimes. It doesn't mean that it's always terrible. But again, what's with this lack of nuance and understanding on the internet? Why are people so stupid that you have to explain nuance and understanding? That sometimes you do need to hear that maybe you need to grow. Every single video you watch shouldn't be that, but sometimes you need to be better. What is so wrong about saying that about young ladies sometimes? Like, I just don't grasp this. There are so many videos telling young men that they need to be better. One video saying that you might have trauma from an awful relationship with men that might help you, independent of even dating them in the first place, and all men are somehow assholes though, and women can't escape the trauma and terrible past of all men everdom. What the flip are you doing? How is this helping people?
You know why? Because even if it's fucking symbolic, even if it's systemic, even if it comes from all the way down to the fucking bottom, top to fucking bottom, guess what? Men refuse to take accountability.
Oh my gosh. Listen, fuckboy McGee. Speak for yourself, all right? I spent years of my life thinking that there's something wrong with me. I still think there's something wrong with me. I blame myself for most of my failures in my relationships with women. Contrary to what so many people say about my YouTube videos, I oftentimes don't ever actually blame any of the women who pick other people over me in the first place. I actually have rules for myself that I don't even contribute to my audience. So again, I must ask, what is this nonsensical men refuse to take accountability nonsense you keep spewing? Because every bit of dating advice to men is about them taking accountability, changing their entire life. Either changing their hair, changing their weight, changing where they live, changing their career path, changing this, changing their attitude, changing who they are. All of this stuff is telling young men that they're not bloody good enough the way they are. They have to keep fighting and changing to be better. So why the fuck do you keep saying that men refuse to take accountability? My friend, I think I know the answer. It's because you refuse to take accountability because you are the fuckboy McGee that all the women are talking about in the first place. In order to mask the fact that you are the shitty person that they keep complaining about, you make these TikTok videos where you bloody pander to them. Well, I've got my fucking sharing on, mate. See right through your bullshit. Seriously, this is nonsense. You're not helping anyone doing this.
So we have nice little fucking heartwarming messages, and the ladies in the comments don't know any better. They're like, hey, thank you for understanding us. Thank you so much. Oh my God, we feel heard. And meanwhile, they're being fucking shit on.
Are you self-reporting? Is that... I feel like somehow I've reversed causality through time and space to where this video response somehow worked into your brain before we got here, and it somehow hit your brainstem and it made you self-report. Obviously, that's a bunch of nonsense, and it's just, you probably didn't mean to tell on yourself there, but you know, you are stupid. Yeah.
Because it's another fucking symbolic example of men refusing to take accountability.
Was I supposed to like go on another rant or something? I'm not going to. You, whatever.
Men speak to men.
I'm greatly befuddled by this. Why shouldn't men speak to people and women should speak to people? What's with this odd? First of all, you're a man speaking to me, and I reject everything you just said offhand because it's pandering nonsense. So, like, why in this mythical world do you think that if men talk to each other, like, specifically, like, that will, like, trigger the change? Like, I don't understand. Most young men that I've seen in my entire life have cared more for the validation and opinions of women than I've ever seen them care about dudes. So...
You tell me to get my shit together, brother. You tell me to step up and stop fucking these ladies over.
Huh. That is actually what I just did there. So I guess that's the end of the video. So, I just know if you guys got something out of it. And if you did, I don't know, go ahead and click the like button. And shoot, go and click the subscribe button. Comment in the comments below. And as always, man, you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.